Hello and welcome to part 3. I want to basically show you the layout that I've chosen for my cover, and we're not going to be putting it all down, of course. I just want to do the matting and show you the making of the bow. Everything's not quite laying there right, and all the pieces and the parts. Naughty nice. So this is where you're going to get out your ephemera pack. Come out of there. Okay, nice. Everything just kind of doesn't want to be here. And of course your numbers. So we're going to be working with the puppy stickers. I've got everything here in my bag. So, okay. Your kit included, you'll have one. So you might have a little different on these because what happened is the package, there's 2 of them, so we divided them out. And then we have our epoxy stickers. So it will depend on which one you have. And then you have your numbers. And I did, goodness, I'm just not keeping track of everything here. I did open the ephemera pack. Right here. So I've already taken out the Have a Holly Jolly Christmas, and then I took out the Merry Christmas and these 2 Naughty and Nice for the cover. And of course my 2018. Now this, I'll show you every piece and give you measurements. We're going to start here. I'm going to show you how to make the bow. Very simple with our scraps. We'll do that in just a moment. This is from the ephemera pack. Naughty and Nice's ephemera pack. So, I bring out my 2018. Everything's laid out here. Okay. Starting with this piece. It was a scrap, of course. 2 1/4 by 8 3/8. Then the bottom piece, because you did get 3 of these in your kit, so this one you should still have 8 3/8 by 7 7/8. So what we're going to do is we are going to put these pieces down, and the white. Then I used a border punch that I had. So if you have a cutter, this is one that was a Martha store. I have a lot of the old ones. And I cut it, after I did the border punch, it was like 3 inches. I cut it down to 1 1/4 by 8 3/8. You can use a scallop punch, a border punch, your machine, any punch that you like. Then I cut a red piece of cardstock from my scraps that is 6 inches by 4 inches. The black is a scrap piece from 3 3/4 to 5 3/4. This was one of the scraps from our construction, 5 1/4 by 3 1/4, and from our ephemera pack. We'll make the bow in just a minute. After we get things laid down, Santa will go. I'm going to have my Naughty and Nice. Holly and Jolly Christmas here, or we may change it, and 2018 from our numbers. Because basically I'll be numbering week 1, 2, 3, 4. So you may not be using all of your numbers, and then my bow. So we'll be making the bow, but things like that we're not going to put down because we don't want to mess those up on the cover. I will do the matting, but I'm going to just set my little ephemera aside so that I have it come back. I made this with my envelope punch board. So if you have an envelope punch board or a die or a different way, or you want to just tie a ribbon, you can. So right now I'll just put all this little ephemera aside. So we really don't want to mess up our cover, but we do want to put the pieces down. Then for the back side. So I had this one that I cut 8 3/8, and then I trimmed it to 6 1/2. And my Santa Claus, which was a scrap from our green, 3 3/4 by 8 3/8. I have not cut the fine piece. Then I cut a piece that is 1 inch by 8 3/8, just from the plaid scraps. And I'm going to cover that top part where Santa's head was cut for the back. Okay, what we're going to do, I'm not going to ink that one. I'm going to go ahead and get all these pieces inked, and we're going to put them down. I wanted to get our cover pieces done so that we don't use them for anything else. The only reason I went ahead and chose is black. Now, we did pull out that red and white stripe. I know you may have had that extra one too. So, apologize for that. But when I saw we had that third piece of black that we didn't use, I really, really liked it. So, you can use any piece that you like here for your cover. Any of the scraps. If you don't like these ones, let's go ahead and I'm going to do this to the side. I'll tell you, these sponges just don't last very long anymore. We'll get these just all inked and put down, and we'll go ahead and make the bow. You can set that aside because it definitely will get smashed as we're working on the inside of our book. That's all from my sponge. Crazy, I know. Polka dots. That's very cute too. Again, I'll be leaving that 1/8 of an inch border. Well, it's not quite 8. Well, maybe it is. Darn. Ink. That ink gets smeared when you don't see those little pieces of sponge. Stop what we're doing. Guess what we forgot? I forgot to tell you. Okay, lift it up. Hopefully you guys caught that. We need to put down the string, the ribbon. Whoa, I'm glad I caught that when I did. Okay, if you can, just lift it up real quick. There are 1.5 yards. Now, the company ran out of this one. So some of the kits did get the black and white. The rest of the kits, if we run out, then you did get the red and gold and the green and red. So you can choose. And I'm really sorry about that. They ran out at the last minute, but you've got 1.5 yards. So what I did, because I took a piece off, because I wanted to possibly use it for a bow. And you don't need that big of a piece. You need 34 inches. So they're like 17. There we go. 17, I just need to cut this one because I wanted a little piece for a bow. So I'm trying to get this together. So I have about 17 inches. And we should have put that down first. It's what I get for getting ahead of myself. That's a good save. And Let's put this up here. So about in the middle. Just put it in there about an inch. Okay, back down that goes. And I won't forget to do the back. We're going to do that right now. The reason I chose the ribbon for this, because it's going to get pretty full. And at least with the ribbon, you can adjust, you definitely can adjust the tightness of your, when you tie it closed. It's really hard to do with any other cover, so I just went with our ribbon. I mean, I expected to sell the kids, but not this many, and that's why the company's like, we're sorry, but we are out of that Christmas ribbon, the black and white. But I really like the gold because it kind of matches the gold on that is supposed to be there. So definitely going to be using some, I think, a Stella in there. I'm going to tie this just to make sure, yeah, we are in the right place. Yeah, if you'll notice, your book is getting heavy. Okay, let's go ahead and finish here. More towards the top because the white will fill in that spot. Can't decide if it's too hot or too cold down here. Gotta keep turning the heat on and off. Okay, down goes my border strip that I cut down to 1 1/4. Hope that's not all. It is just a hair, but I'll be covering that area when we decorate. Oh goodness, that's the problem with some of these borders. They're very easily torn. Just glue that right down. And it's nice when you use your die cuts, because then if you have the sticky stuff that you can cut your dies with, we have it. I can't remember what it's called. Goodness, me and names. Anyway, we sell it. It's the real thin sticky stuff. You cut your dies, and then it has an automatic sticky back. It's really cool stuff. It's in our store. Okay, let's go ahead and not smash our bowl, change sides. So I got the ribbon down. Ooh. The gold wants to come off of there. Let me grab another piece. Hopefully I have another piece. How on earth? There it is. Hey, is your desk like mine? Do you lose everything? That could be a good commercial. Okay. I don't know if I've got a dog snoring or a TV upstairs. That's really a weird sound. And then the little 1-inch piece. And actually, you could put a nice picture on the back of your album. Now on your spine, totally up to you. If you need to go through your scraps, and the one scrap that I have, and it's like an almost perfect fit. So if you cut yours the way I did, you should have it, I hope. I have the Santa Claus. For the sides. So let me go ahead and tie this up. Then I'm going to fold the ends together and cut down to get that look. So just fold them together. Oh, and it looks like it's about 5 inches down. No, cut the wrong way. Cut that way. There we go. To get those ends. So we have a pretty good size spine. It should be 3 inches roughly. Yep, with our spacer. And it should be the same length. Yep. 10 3/8. So I'm going to start, and I'm just cutting at a 1/16 of an inch shorter than the 2 7, or than the, 2 7/8. Just not quite 2 7/8, just a hair short. And yep, and it's a nice fit by the 10 3/8. Little space spot on that spine that there we go. Once again, I'm just inking the edges, but I'm doing it away from the book. due to the issues of my sponge. There I have Santa Claus. And there we have our front. Now let's make our bow. So for this one, I'm just going to grab, because it's just a scrap that's sitting here from my pile. And you want 2 pieces. I went 1 1/4. No, I apologize, I went 1. I went 1 inch. Then we want 1 inch by 4 inches and 1 inch by 7. And 1 by 4. And then from this piece, I'm just going to cut a piece that's 3/8 of an inch by 1 1/2. 3/8 by 1 1/2 should do it. I'm going to cut another one at 2 just in case. Sometimes it doesn't quite overlap. Okay, we're going to start with our 7-inch piece. And on our envelope punch board, you want to punch it half at 3 1/2 inches. So that's your halfway. Turn it around and punch again at 3 1/2. Now you're going to put this piece in just so it comes to that edge. Okay, just to this little guy here. Punch, turn it over, stop it, and punch again. It's getting full. And we're going to repeat on the opposite side. And that's what it's going to look like. Now for this piece, you're going to punch in half at 2 inches. Flip it over again at 2. Now we're going to do this different. You're just going to take the end, try and center it. It won't be perfectly centered. Try and punch. No, mine's off, but that's normal for me. And punch. And you can make bows any size you want. Now with your bone folder, hold the center and then just around those edges. Art glitter glue on the ends. I put the first one down, then the second. Just matching up where the curve is, curvature of your bow. Just takes a second to dry. We'll add that next piece of glue, either hot glue, art glitter glue, whatever you're using. Looks like the first one we cut, that's just 1.5 inches. That's plenty. Go ahead and round that with your bone folder. Yeah, because that's maybe even a little long. I'll just trim those edges. And I put a little glue down at the bottom, on the bottom of the bow, actually, on the bow side. And that's how we get our bows. Pretty cool, huh? But we definitely don't want to put these down because we're going to be opening our book right this moment working on it. And so they will get smashed. And now I've got 2, so I might use it somewhere. Okay, now we're going to move inside of our book. And we want to go ahead and let's start with this mat. We're going to be matting this with mostly with our white papers. This is such a fun part. So I've got things laid out. This is our insert. I did get out of number 1. What I'm going to be doing here is I'm going to use the 1, but most of the time, like, I'm going to put the numbers just in an envelope and then use them as I get to those days. So let me take all these pieces and parts off. I actually have the centers all cut because there's so many pieces that are to be able to give you the measurements. And we're going to start because it folds this way. Mine does. You may have yours turned the other way. I like this edge to go inside of our pocket. And it was the one that measured 12 inches by 9. We did it in the beginning. So what I'm doing now, the inserts are mainly going to be hopefully for, our pictures. So I did cut a piece of white, and this is where we're going to get into all of our scraps. It is 4 inches by 6 inches. Then I have a piece that's 5 7/8 by 2 3/4. It will sit here at the bottom. Then I have a 1 7/8, and it's 6. It matches the white. There goes Wilbur with the squeaky toy. And from the ephemera pack is Ho Ho Ho. And I will be matting this on our scraps. So let's go ahead and do that first. And I do have some scraps of black from our inserts. And that's how that first one's going to look. We're going to leave this partly open so we can tuck a picture up at the top. And I'm not inking the white, of course. This was one of the scraps in my little leftover pile. Okay, we're going to start with those guys. But first, I'm just going to mount this and we'll cut around it. I'm not going to use the cut. I'm going to do it by hand because it has that curved look to it that I want to keep. Gosh, every time I get started, turn the heat on, then it's just too hot. There we go. When you are fussy cutting, these scissors make all the difference in the world. I used to use my Tim Holtz. It was a nightmare. So if you don't have a pair of the EK Success, do get them at Joann's with your coupon because it's going to make your work so much easier. Even a person like me who cannot cut a straight line, I can do it with those. Okay, Wilbur has this thing lately about throwing stuff down the stairs. Hey, Wilbur, give me that. You can't have it. And then he wants to chase them down the stairs. I have that. Now, give me that. He does it with his dog dishes. He does it with his toys. He does it with my Tupperware. And that's just what he had. Sorry, that's why I had to go get the Tupperware. Oh, that little boy. He's already had 3 of his chew bones today, so we can't have more. No. No. You're naughty. Pushes the garbage can. That's okay. That's it. Stop it. Looks right at me. Pulls stuff off the shelves. I guess he's on one tonight. Bring it right up there. And that's really cute if you have anything that you want to end up putting there at the end, maybe left over, things like, of course, we're going to be using some of these. Of course, we might use them now because they're pretty cute. The ephemera that you get with Photo Play, you don't quite get as much in your packages as you do like with Echo Park. That's the only thing. I wish they would jam that thing full. So we'll leave that open so a picture can sit back there. Just add adhesive to this bottom half. And I'm going to open the epoxy stickers. And I want to take out this holly. Put this right down here in the corner. And on these, I'm still going to use a little bit of adhesive. It will dry clear if you're using the art glitter glue. Then my pictures can slide right down in there. And on the inside, now after you put your picture down, you can also adhere that down if you'd like. No need to, really. I did our photo shoots with Wilbur for Christmas, and then I know my bigger inserts will have more family, but he has some 5x7s coming, so I cut my white pieces at 5x7. Now remember, if you don't like these sizes, you definitely, you can cut your own. Then our strips. These are 7 inches long, just from our scraps, and they are they're 3/4 of an inch, because that was about an inch space. So I cut them 3/4 by 7 to match the mat. I did one for that side and one for this side. They're both 3/4 by 7, and this, then it was the back side of that scrap, is 5 7/8 by 1 7/8. And now I'm going to use the snowflakes to put those there at the bottom. And then I have the stockings and no humbug zone, where it can go right there. It's crazy puppy. Keeps trying to take my shoes off when I film now. I guess it's something new. Try not to pay attention. Oh, well, I have to, because then he takes my shoe. Give me my shoe. You know what? He was asleep. Give me my shoe back. I need to have a filming table so he can be right up here with me, and I can keep him chained to the desk. There goes that. I'm going to have to just ink over here on the side. He's like a kid. Wilbur is. From under the table, this little beagle is now trying to climb up my leg. Oh, he got his ball, so he's good. I did ink that. I do want to ink. This is from your ephemera pack. And this is from the ephemera pack. Just leaving that. It's about a 1/16 of an inch around for my border. If you like more red showing, of course you can cut your pieces smaller. I'm not worried about a picture sitting under there, because I will crop my 5 by 7 because I want a little bit of the back white to show, so it looks like it's, double matted. Once again, these are a full 5 by 7. And then don't forget, the first week of December, I will be doing videos. I'll have them posted. And I will show what I've put in here each week. So for the first week, and I'm going to actually start them, sorry, not the 1st of December. I'm going to start the week after Thanksgiving to show you what my week 1 is starting to look like for December. Because I will have things a little bit ahead, only because I'll be picking up some of the pictures early. We've done some of the house decorating, and so I get some of my pictures in there. And I do have, you know, a Kodak one-touch home printer, so I just print off my phone, which makes it really nice. I can print off those 4x6 pictures. And if you haven't gotten one, ask for one for Christmas. There's a selfie. I mean, everybody, there's all different. The only reason I really like the Kodak is, with the selfie, I found I had to download some different software. Oh, good thing a picture's going there because I got ink. And I had some, for me, it wasn't as user-friendly as I was hoping, but then that's me. Okay? So it does good quality. My son has that one. I can still stick his picture into there. So there's a lot of good ones out there. Just research. But if you, I'm telling you, it'd be a great Christmas present from the family. So there's that side, and we're going to do the back. The back's a little different, and this is more for the wallet sizes. They're 2 7/8 by 2 7/8, and I did 3 of those. And remember, these don't have to be for pictures. Maybe you have something on a Christmas card you want to cut out and put there because it just really was cute. Get down. Yeah, it definitely does not have to be a picture. It can also be a day. I'll give you these measurements. So this one is 2 7/8 by 5 3/8. 2 7/8 on this one by 2 7/8. Too bad some of that wording didn't get cut off. That would have been nice. And then 2 7/8 by 1/2 of an inch is going to go right there. Wilbur, I'm sorry. I don't know what's gotten into him tonight. Some ink. He's way out of the camera, so I'm not getting that mess. All right, that's it. Go. And it's dark early, so playtime at the park has been cut down. That doesn't make him very happy. I'm just leaving that little space. Between, so that we have some pretty red showing. Now your numbers can also just be used as week 1, 2, 3, 4. You don't have to number your days. So many possibilities. You don't have to number your days. You can just number your weeks or the actual date. Oops. That we're putting on the front. Now this is going to match this bottom one. You know, I think maybe I will not put that number down now that I thought about it. Because I don't want to have it in spots that we don't want it. So I'm going to just remove this from the sticker sheet, the wreath. Then I took from our dots here, just one of the snowflake ones. Place that right in the center. In our little pocket it goes. Then here we have another spot that we can use for tags that will fit right inside. So I'm going to cut this down. The length is perfect. And I'll be cutting a lot more, but this way it's 4 3/4. I'm going to cut it to 2 1/2 or to 3. Let's try 3. Let's go 3. And if you have a corner angle punch, or if you want to you can also just cut it with your scissors. Or if you have the angle punch that'll make or maybe you have the punch forward, then this can be used for your tags to give you an idea inside of there. But right now, let's go ahead and I'm going to pull out these mats because we want to get those done. And we want to get our tags that are going to go into these little, let me open that. I don't have to open it. Text spots here. So I'll get everything out together and we'll get those made. Okay, on to the inserts. I'm going to give you all the measurements as we go. And I'm going to start with this one. So what I did is the inserts were the 7 3/4 by 9 3/4, and I rounded the edges. And then I got into the scraps from making our album, and I had quite a few of the 4 by 12s. So I pulled those out, and those are what I'm going to use. We are pretty much down to our little scraps. And I did 4. I was able to get 2 of the plaid and then 2 of the red and black plaid. I cut these at 9 5/8 by 1 1/2, and they're going to be the headers on each one of my inserts. And I'll put those down. The back side, I'm not going to mat. Our book is, as you notice, is heavy. As we add pictures, we're going to become even more heavy. And also on the back, if you have a white gel pen, and I have one. Actually, I have a couple that I had picked up. They're called Jelly Rolls. Just got them at Hobby Lobby. And you can write on the black. So they're really fun pens to get. Or you can use silver, gold, permanent markers. Anything that will write on black. And I'll give you all these sizes for this first mat here in just a moment. Okay, so my first piece was actually scrap of 4 1/4 by 7 3/4. So I just went with it and I worked around that. So first I'm going to go ahead. Now these are 1 1/2 inches. They're the 9 5/8 by 1 1/2. And you'll have also white scraps, so if you don't want to do red photo mats, you can use white photo mats. Okay, next down will be the photo mat. Leaving a border. And this piece is 1 1/2, or no, maybe it's 1 3/4 by the 7 3/4. So basically it's just a second layer of color, same length as my photo mat. So that leaves the bottom polka dots at 6 1/8 by 1 3/4. But do measure yours just in case you do different size. The main thing is you just want everything to kind of match, so when you look at it, you have that squared up look. And then again, as you're doing your weeklies, you may find that you want to have your numbers here. And it is nice and heavy. Slides right inside there, perfect fit, enough to grab. And now for photo mat number 2. Again, these were 4 by 12, so I just cut them to 6, 2 of them. Then I cut the bottom piece. I had this one piece of the stockings left at 1 1/2 by 6. And again, the 9 5/8 by 1 1/2. So there's 4 of those. When we were putting the album pages together, that's where these 4 by 6, because remember we cut the pages at 8, and so that left us those 4 strips, and they came in handy. matching it to the top of the matting. I think I had that at the bottom. I think I like that in the middle. Let's see. Yes, I'm going to change that to the middle. I did have it at the bottom. I'm going to put my other 4x6 photo mat at the bottom. And stockings in the center. Get that a little off, but with pictures and then stickers, they're going to be fine. Those are easy to hide. Now for photo mat number 3, I am using from the ephemera pack. When you open it, you have these frames, but they are all together, so you do need to take them apart. I'm going to be using the center frame. Let me show you. So I cut a piece of scrap red at 4.5 by 4.5. The black is 4 1/4 by 4 1/4. So I'm just going to kind of double mat to give it extra strength, and we're going to leave. I'll leave the side open so I can slide a picture inside of there. And you may have different color tops of your mats than what I'm using. So like I said, you're going to get into your scraps, depending on if you had any accidents or you just used your paper differently. Yours may have a different strip at the top than what I've used. Another one of the 4x6s. No, this is bigger. Sorry, this one was the 4 1/4. I'm not sure what it was left from, but it was in the scrap pile, so I just grabbed it. Set that aside for a moment while we put these together. So a 4x4 picture is what you would cut it to so that it will slip on the frame. Make sure the centers are. Now I'm going to do it. You can either do it from the top. I'm going to have it slide from the side. So I'm putting this right at the edge because you need that space to be able to slide a photo in. Or you can leave 3 sides open. I usually just do the 4. I mean the 3. Sorry. You can do 2 sides and leave 2 open, and then glue it down after. As long as you keep the glue pretty close to that top. I'm going to cut this down. This is my 4x4. It'll be a little shorter than, or a little smaller than 4x4. I want to slide that in now so that glue doesn't completely dry. And when I have my picture, I get that edge. All right, that's it. We're going this way. There we go. And when I get the picture chosen, I can add the adhesive to this edge. So I'm going to set it over towards the left edge a little bit. Cute red heart to go right in that space. And this is from your second sticker sheet. It's actually their card kit stickers. They're really cute stickers. Peace, love, and joy right off that card sticker sheet. And insert number 4, 1.5 by 9 5/8, and those two 4 by 6, 4 by 6. Then I have a 1.5 by 6 white, great writing spot. So now your inserts are more of a layout than just a pull-out mat. Now the 4 by 6, we'll put those down, and then our inserts are finished on our December weekly. Okay, we're getting one step closer to being done and getting started on our paper clips. We're getting down to the nitty-gritty of not only scraps, but what's left. So I'm going to jump ahead a little bit. We did our inserts, and we do have some matting of the waterfall, and we do have some tags and little booklets to make. But I want to jump ahead a little bit before we get to using too much of our embellishments inside the album to show you, and I've got hot glue, sorry, everywhere. It just kind of oozed out on the gun and on top of my finger. Okay, so I'm going to be grabbing the puffy stickers for what I'm doing with the paper clips. Paper clips are right out of my stash. You can go buy some pretty gold ones. I am just going to use my regular paper clips. Then I have two different punches, and they're just Fiskars, so you can pick these up at your local Joann's, Hobby Lobbies. I don't know, Michael's. They don't seem to have a lot here, but they're two little ones. They're the smallest ones they have, and then the medium. So they usually hang right next to each other. I mean, it's just barely an inch and like half inch. So they're pretty little, but they work great. You can use a flower punch. You can also use, of course, your die cut machine and just cut out a bunch of different sizes. So if you're using your die cut, then you could cut out a little more fancier. So this is an example of a paper clip with a little crocheted flower and different, and then a brad. So we're going to be doing some things like this. I'm going to be using the puffy stickers, and also remember the bow we made? Now you can make these smaller. We made these 1x7 and 1x4, or no, they were 1 1/4 by 1 by 4. Cut your papers down to 1 inch, or cut them down to 3/4, and do 5 and like 2. Make some smaller bows, but I am going to use this because it's going to be really cute. So I'm going to start with this bow we made, and I'm going to start with my paper clip. I always start with the down here at the bottom because we need to slide this onto our paper, and I just put my paper clip right there, and that's where I punched some little circles that are going to sit on the back. And what I do is I hold the paper clip there using my hot glue gun. We'll get rid of all those later. And we can hold that for just a second. And then I'm going to place a dot on top from the smallest. You can then tie ribbons from this. But we need to hold it for just a minute. I'm going to let that dry, and I'll show you as we put them in the book. But let's go ahead, and I want to grab this one. I really like the Santa Claus on the Moon, and it is already sticky. And this is puffy, and it's plastic. The chance of this melting is going to be pretty good, I'll be honest with you. So you need to take a bigger circle, and it doesn't have to match the whole thing, but let me grab one that is bigger to show you. And I should have had that out. I apologize. One. And so much for having everything ready. This one. And you're going to have plenty of scraps. Might even want black on this. So this is another Fiskars. And I like to try and use Fiskars so that you are able to get them. They're, you know, quite available. I think I'll go black on this one. And I'll be right back. I do apologize. Filming during the day is great because it's quiet usually and Wilbur sleeps, but I still have the store, so we do have some calls come in. I did use my art glue, and I put that on the back. Makes it look like a bottle cap, so it's really cute. We'll remove another paper clip and doing the same thing, but I want to make sure it's up the same way. And then on the back, I did punch one of the bigger red dots that will go there. And, oh, that's going to be a lot. That'll be okay as long as I don't smash it too hard. There we go. So there will be a little bit of a space there because I used so much glue, which is fine. Just don't want to ooze it out. And then I'm going to let that dry. That way. Another fun thing to use is going to be these mini clothespins. I picked these right up at Michael's. And then these ones are the white medium. No, I bought these at Hobby Lobby. Sorry, these are the white medium. And then I did receive some in a really cute stuffed stocking that are a little bit bigger that I probably will use from Kathy on our design team. Love it. And on our clothespins, so I'm going to move on over to these are the enamel dots. And I'll start with a snowman. Again, this has a chance of possibly, help me here, melting. So I'm going to use a glossy accent like product, but this is Novu Crystal Glaze, same thing as your glossy accents, or you could use your E6000. And I'm just going to put him down on that clothespin and let that dry. Without paper back there, I'd be really afraid the hot glue, this thing is just making a mess everywhere. So we'll let him dry and then we'll have a cute little clip. And let's do another one. Now on another one, you can do the same thing with the puffy. We can also use a sticker. So let's move to our stickers. Stars are always a lot of fun. But again, I do want to back it on. You can either back it just directly on a circle, or I'm debating, do I want to fussy cut this? Do I want to circle this? You know, let's go with the circle. I should have punched that. After I kind of looked at the points, I'm like, it might not be so fun to fussy cut. A little bit easier there on the hot glue. You know, I've tried the glue sticks in the freezer. It works for so long. I've tried the Vaseline around the tip. That only works so long because then it melts. I've tried everything. It's just hot glue. I guess we have to just deal with it, don't we? And another fun thing is if you bought any Halloween Christmas buttons that we also have these packs in our store. Again, we'll put Santa on the back. And I'll use one of my smaller dots. And then we have our Santa Claus. And that's what you'll want to do if you, it just depends on how many you would like to make. Some of these others, the stocking, which is just adorable, I definitely would cut around, and the same with Santa. So let's go ahead, and any one of them that I use, I'm going to back them and use art glitter glue. Backing them is important, like I mentioned earlier, so it does not melt. And when cutting around this, don't try and be super perfect. Just move your scissors a little, move the Santa where the little, like, imperfections are, you'll see, of his outline. crazy, and that's just fine. Another paper clip, and he's going to be pretty good size, so I still want to bring my paper clip down a little bit and use a bigger one of the circles. And then if you don't want the back super plain, we'll just add, you can use just our glitter glue for this. You can add another circle. Now you can also add another one of the, if you want it to be double-sided. So on those, you can also make as many or as few as you like, but this is going to be really fun. Let me grab the book. Before I do, let's go through some of these. So for this one, this is the little squares that we had last from the back of the plaid. And there's two that are pretty salvageable, and I'll save that other little strip. It's going to be used on the waterfall. Up to you if you want to go through and double mat these. I will mat this. They're 2x2s, or 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. Yeah. So 2 1/2 by 2 1/2 will be the backing that I'll eventually make, but let me give you some ideas here. So maybe you just want to stick a picture there. Of course, that one would show on the back. And maybe you just want it to add that decorative touch. You do have to remember your bow. See, when I close my album, it'll get smashed a little, but it's still pretty cute. Then you could also just slide that picture in there. One of the uses, and again on the side here. That's going to be a concern, is just watching, so you'd want to use a smaller one. You can use your little enamel dots for that. And again, it'll be a great place just to stick that loose photo that you want. Let's get like one of our Santa Clauses, our smaller ones. There we go. They can sit right there. You don't even have to remove your little paper clips. Or we have snowmen, and they will add some bulk, so that you need to remember, but you don't have to use them. You can just kind of stick them up here at the top of your book. Even. Lots of great fun uses for these little things. Again, if you want to just hold a card on there, maybe you had a special card and you want to use the pocket, but you don't want it to be hidden inside your pocket. Oh, those are going to go on there. These two. And so that is where I will be using those. The paper clips aren't a big burdensome on your album. It doesn't take up a lot of bulk. Your clothespins will. And so the squares that I have left, I will be going in and cutting those out. Now those can also be put on your paper clips. And then you can do the matting on the back side. And then the back side will be either for writing or a little picture. And you would glue these the exact same way. Just making sure this part's at the bottom, the loop, because you need to be able to use your paper clip. And once you start making these, they're addictive. I promise you. They're addictive and they're super fun. So I don't want to lose those. Let's move to the waterfall. Waterfall is 6 inches by 4. I don't want to go through and cover every page. I'm just going to do a little border here at the bottom. And if you remember, the inside of our flap is the white cardstock, which is nice. So I'm definitely going to just leave that. Let me see what I have here. Here, we'll use this. I just tore it out of a book. So it's a picture of an F-22. It's not what I'll use, but it's just to give you the idea. Whoops. So I can cut this down. Remember I talked about there being so much excess. So I'm just over here on my cutter. I'm going to cut off all that excess flooring, all that excess roofing that really we don't care about the lighting up in the hanger. But we do care about the main picture. So see how that brought that down? And then you'll be able to get 2 more on there. So that's going to be a great place to post some pictures. Now out here, because we're by the military base, see, we'll have Santa Claus come in. I don't know if they'll do him on an F-22 or the old F-16s. And we'll get new pictures of the Santa Claus coming in. So let me show you what I'm planning to do. You need 10 scraps. So I dug through and got out all my little scraps. One other thing I'm going to be using, this is going to be a great card. The December 25th, we did use it once, but you'll have the second one. Definitely want that scrap. And then this one of all of this is the leftover cut aparts there. And I had a strip of some more of the 2 1/4 by 2 1/4. Definitely want those. I'm going to cut down my strips. Well, I'm just going to cut off first from the ones I want to use on my waterfall. I'm just using a 1/2 inch strip. Waterfall is 6 inches, so I'll cut this 5 7/8. I will ink all the edges on these. Then what I'm going to do is just place them on the bottom as if they were matting. And then I'll go to the next one, next one, next one. So you need 10 pieces. Then I'm just leaving these for the pictures, for the 4 by 6 pictures that I will cut down. And I'm going to just glue. So let me do the first one with you. I'm only going to glue 3 sides. And then I won't finish all these on camera because it'll all depend on your leftovers. Three sides. And if you want them to go all the way to the edge, that's okay too. But now, I'm going to turn this picture over so I don't ruin. When I go to put my picture in, I'll be able to tuck it down in there. And it will be able to fit the whole side, or it can just sit. You won't even have to adhere it down. So these are 1/2 inch by 5 7/8, and I'm going to cut 10 of them. I'm not going to do the back. I'll put full pictures on there. Then, depending on what I finally have left over, I will cut 3/8 of an inch strips. I will be doing this top part at 3/8 of an inch by 5 7/8. And that takes care of that, and then just matting these little tags that we cut during the tutorial. And so for me, this will be, you know, the beginning of on Christmas Day. So definitely I will have a photo down here at the bottom. Great place to put when the kids show up for Christmas. So that's going to be left. So you're going to have some places that there's just not going to be decoration, because your decoration is going to be your pictures. Okay, we want to mat this. So we have our area that is scored. So you only want to do the front with our matting. I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are four and 3/8. Oh, we already knew the width. 4 and 3/8 by 4 or 3 7/8. 4 and 3/8 by 3 7/8. 2. Then I'm going to cut 2 pieces that are 3 5/8 by 3 7/8 for the mats. And then this little paper clip can be put aside, because my new paper clip that has been decorated is going to be what's going to be the closure. I'm going to set this away from the mess so I can get those pieces cut. Like I said, you're probably down to the bare minimums. That's what I'm about down to. Because I want to use the snowflakes on that waterfall, I'm going to take off 1/2 inch. I want to set that aside. See if I can still use this for the cover, which is, I know I should just measure it first, but 4 3/8 by the 3 7/8, and it won't quite go, so that'll be used for something else, some other matting. Oh, I found those. So definitely those little parts and pieces that we have left over. It looks like I won't have to cut a big one. I'm going to use white on the back sides, and I might be able to use that. Man, this time I used it up. So I've got 4 3/8 by 3 7/8. Yay. Let me double check my measurements, of course. No, I know that's not going to fit. Oh, yes, it is. I cut the other one too short, but that's okay. I think it will fit. It will. It'll fit the back piece. So I'll be using the same color. And then the white. So I'll go ahead, mat the red on camera, and then you can cut the white for the back side. So we have to stay clear of our score lines. Then on the back side, you can add pictures if you like, but you definitely have lots of room here, and we still have that little pocket we need to mat on the inside. You know how you just look out and the dog was barking and now he's looking at something over by the fence? Make sure we have the big yard in the back. Oh, that would have been cute. But it's too late. I forgot to check my B side. I always try to check both sides in case you cut that cut apart just perfect, but I didn't check it. And then close. And of course, we need something extremely cute there. Such as our season's greetings. Let's see if it's going to fit. All right, Santa, move you over. And it will fit. Kind of wish they didn't put season's greetings on there. I like Merry Christmas. So on this one, we may even want to take that puffy sticker that is the present, and definitely you can clip that. You can make that one into a paper clip. We can add it right here. I believe there was one other Christmas present. Oh, no, there wasn't. It was a candy cane. Oh, there is. The little tiny red one from the other acrylics. These are the hearts. And they're so tiny, I'm not putting the glue behind them. I'm just going to have faith that they're going to stay stuck under the Christmas tree. Then I'll cut white mats, the same inside. Hey, now, isn't that just cool to sit and play with? Right here, we need to do some covering. The piece that I have left is the polka dot. Whoops, the polka dots. So you can have the reds or the polka dots. I really like the polka dots. It just brings the cheery theme to this. So this is a faux pocket that we're going to end up doing. So we need to cut two pieces that are 5 I'm just going to round it off here and go 5.5 because I just want to cover that. 5.5 by 9 7/8. And you're going to want 2 pieces, 1 for each side. Okay, at least that bent part will be under it. And if you don't want to put the faux pocket, let me show you what I'm talking about with the faux pocket. So either with your black, you could use red. You will want to mat it. So that could be one of the little issues, but it's mostly just for a small tuck spot. So using the red, I want to cut, actually I'll use the white. I have that piece left over here. And on mine, I'm just cutting 2 pieces that are 1.5 by the 9 7/8, the exact same size as your matting. It'll match your matting. Then you're going to just glue it on 3 sides. And I'll do that too. Let me just cut my second piece. You can make them bigger. You can leave, like I said, you can leave them off totally and just bring your mat all the way to the edge. Getting time, I think, to re-ink the inkers. Start with this side. I'm just adding my adhesive on 3 sides. And stay just below the score line there where your book needs to turn. White paper is a magnet. So let's cut the stem or whatever scrap you're using to 9 7/8. And I'll cut it down to 1 3/8. Actually, it's too long. We need to take off 1/8 of an inch. It didn't allow, I forgot, it should be 9 3/4. Just a little off on that edge. Oh, that's pretty too. We'll go with the polka dots. I need to stop doing that. Okay. I should have checked that first. It's just that darn Fiskars cutter. I didn't see it till I go to put it down and you see where it kind of tore up the edge. But yep, we have enough sticky left. So, cute little tuck spot for those cards. Cut aparts. No, we've got to add some more adhesive. Loose photos. Maybe you just want to stick them in there so you have them. Absolutely anything. So just do the same thing. And see, yeah, this side you have to basically pull it open to work on. So we probably should have done that first. Now we know you'll do the same thing to this back side. So I did make a note. Next tutorial to make sure we mat that before we put it all together. Not much you can do with that accordion. With it laying flat. So you know what I think I'll do on this one? I'm going to reverse the little tuck pocket. I'm going to put this down to the bottom. Well, actually, you know what? This one, oops. I'm going to have it at the bottom. Actually, I cut this one almost the same size. So this one's not. If you want your pocket, do it just like the front. I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to take my banner piece, not my banner, the black from the sticker. I'm going to cut this down on my cutter. So I just put them into my cutter. I use my bigger one. Sometimes I'll just cut it, like cut it 9 7/8. And just that little spot that's off that was going to be used for the pocket, I'll put that down. It's not going to be as easily accessible. I completely forgot about that, as this side is. Santa. And then to give you some hints, totally up to you with your scraps, what you want to do for your mats and tags. You might want to leave a lot of this just open for things that you're going to put in there, recipe cards. You could even stuff it with some recipe cards that you're going to have down for your baking day on your last week that you did, or one of your dinners. And I'll be cutting some of that to give you some ideas here in a minute. Here, pretty self-explanatory, just places for numbers, but I do want to get out the envelope punch board again because I'm going to make some small envelopes to have as tuck spots here in just a moment. But on on this one really quick, I wanted to do the little knobby looking thing with our, everything's getting buried. I need to pull it out so that we have it, so it looks like a button. Oh, and then I need to let you know, if you bought the kit, okay, some of the kits, they ran out of these completely. There's no more in stock, and they're not getting any more. It wasn't charged. We had them. We planned on using them, so they were separated. Some of you may have gotten these in your kits, and some of you didn't, and I apologize, but they weren't a charged item. We just threw them in courtesy of photo play, but then they completely ran out, so some of you may have gotten this one and this one. Again, they'll be for you to decorate with, to use how you want, but I won't for that reason, because some of the kits don't have them, and there was absolutely no more in stock to bring in, and I don't want to do that to you. That's not very nice. So on here, I want kind of what looks like a knob, so that it looks like it's an actual envelope. Taking my enamel little snowflake here, basically in the center, and then this will be a great place for this kind of stuff. I'm going to move all the cushions. And again, down here. And then as I cut these out, this is where this kind of stuff will go. So before we get into making the couple of booklets and tags to fit inside of there and our cover, I just want to grab the envelope punch board. If you have the mini envelope punch board, that works too. But what I'm going down here to is the gift card size. So if you have any scraps that are 5 by 5, and you may be totally out of that range, like I am right now, then go ahead and just use your regular cardstock. So we had plenty of scraps from that one. And I'm going to make the gift card size to give you an idea of what I'm going to do with my numbers so that I have them for each week. And you can make as many of these or as few. And if you have the mini envelope punch board, we do have that in stock at Country Craft Creations. I'll show you with the mini punch board, one of the mini envelopes. So this is 5 by 5. And if you're familiar with your punch board, then you know you just follow your scoring and your punching. So we're punching this one at 2. And if you have your envelope punch board and you find you don't use it a lot, get it out. There's so much you can do with it. And putting these little envelopes in your projects is actually a lot of fun. Then we're just going to match those lines. Can't quite get it in there this afternoon. Oh, and you can round off your tops. Everything's sticking to me. Envelope punch boards, run out with your coupon and pick them up. So I put mine inside like so. You will find so many uses for this board between making our bows, our envelopes here, of course we want some decoration on these. And on the front with our So I'm going to be using actually Santa's clothing here for the cover, so we really don't want to do that. Meant to glue that. And then let's grab our numbers. So, for instance, and I've got mine dumped. So, I was actually doing a couple of different projects. So, week 1, we have days 1, days 2, days 3. I didn't have a place that night to dump my ephemera. Day 5. We know there's going to be a 7 because it's the first week. And I just need a 6. Now, if you did not purchase the kit and you have, hold on a minute, Wilbur, give me that punch back. Come here, did you take the punch again? Okay, you have it. When my punch drawer is open, he reaches in and he takes out my punches to go chew. I know, that dog. And then he runs up the stairs because he thinks I'm not going to run up there to get him. But taking my punch, oh yeah, I'm going to run up and get him. So, in our little envelope, oh, I can't get a hold of anything today. Day 1, 2, and this way you will have them all sorted. You don't have to pre-put them down in your book because you don't know what day you're going to do what. Okay, so let's get them all inside of there. And then let's grab the book. And voila. You just put it inside there. You can tuck it right inside of there. And then your numbers are all ready to go. Now with the mini envelope punch board, which is a great place to stick in like little ticket stubs, or just if you wanted to put a little note on there or something, is the mini envelope punch board. Like I said, we do have these in stock. Look at the size difference. So this is really fun. And you know those graphic 45 little envelopes? That will make this. So I want to make the 2x3 size. And this was a 4x8. 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. It was a scrap, so I just cut it to the 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. We're going to do the same thing again and following the little punch guide, which is at 2 3/8. And this is definitely mini. Lots of fun though. I think you can on your big one. You can do the 2 by 3.5 inch, which is what we did. It's the smallest. It's the other one we did for the numbers. And I am going to make 3 more of those for each week. And this one even has the little corner rounder at the top. Really cute. Really to lose in your stash. So make sure when you put it somewhere, it's where you're going to easily see it. Again, you can put your numbers in this little guy too. Or you can put in the leftover, oops, we definitely don't want glue down there, your leftover ephemera pieces. For instance, your little wreath. And you can bend this back. Merry and bright. So you might want to stick those little pieces in there. And there's a little package. Might get lost in our big envelope over here, but you definitely can stuff it down inside of a pocket like so. You really, probably I don't want this one to be closed because I wanted people to know it's something that they can use. You can even sit down there with our marks, our bookmarks. Hang right over that edge. Oh, I already put 2 of our little clothespins on, didn't I? Snowman can hold him down. Oh, there's Howard, right next to me. So see, you've got lots of options with this. It can just sit on the back of there. Let's go ahead and take this one. It's not attached. Lots of fun, cute ways. Then, or you can put your numbers for week 2, which is going to be 8 through 14, and vice versa. You can put all your numbers. So you can make all the different size envelopes that you'd like. They can sit anywhere. Add your little paper clips. You definitely want paper clips with this. Hang them loose from there. This is the spot where my numbers are going, so I don't want any decorating there, and of course pictures. Or you can slide them right up under any available paper clip. The only thing left, and that is something that you might want to go through all your scraps, is just to cut your different, if you want different tags inside your pockets. A lot of them, I'm not going to be putting them in now. I'll be doing that as I'm doing the weekly. And I do have one other little decoration I do want down though. Whoa, as I tear it, I can salvage that. So here's what I did. I took just a piece of the green and let me recut that with you. And it's a good thing because I just tore it. It's 3 inches by 1 1/4. I do want the green, so I'm going to recut it. And then this was a piece that is from our, that's not my cutter, my envelope punch board. That is a piece from, oh goodness, ephemera pack. So I'm going to cut a 1 by 3. I'm having to use something different because I tore that, but it's okay. So it's 1 by 3. Piece of the polka dot. What I do is I just snip up about maybe 1/2 inch in the center, and then corner to corner, or corner to center, and that will make a flag if you don't have a punch. And for that, I don't want to sit there and try and just put that end into a punch. Week 3, probably parties will be starting. But one thing I want to do is just add, I'll show you. I'm going to add adhesive right here because I want to be able to slide photos under there. Right in the center, I'll add my adhesive, and down that will go. And then, kind of big, I can slide a picture in there still. It will hold it, or I can mount it depending if I wanted, you know, to make it more permanent. Or I can slide a show ticket, anything I want underneath there. Make sure that's done. So that, basically, that's the completion of our album. I'm going to set that there. And when I start doing the weeklies, that's where I'll give you a few more ideas of what I've tucked in here, which will be another envelope. So I will be making, like I mentioned, I'm going to make another couple of envelopes. I'll probably go bigger depending on where they're getting tucked, and they'll be our numbers. So I will have each week set a number, so I'm not going to be digging for them as I'm wanting to use them. So let's move to the cover. tie this shut. And for the cover, the bow, we already made the bow because I showed you how to do that envelope punch for it. And a couple of things that I'm going to be using. So actually I'm going to move this. It's from our ephemera pack, Merry Christmas. And the numbers that are 2018 for this year. You may not want to number yours if you're going to just kind of keep on using it. When you punch these out of your ephemera, one thing you'll notice, you get these little knobby ends. So we do have to kind of scrape those off. Then I have a Santa Claus from our ephemera pack. Then I have 3 sheets of our cardstock. One that's 4 by 6, 3 3/4 by 5 3/4, and then I have 5 1/4 by 3 1/2. The only one that I want to ink the edges on this one. So we can go ahead and put our layers together. And I do need to find those 2 little tabs. There they are, naughty and nice. So keep all your pieces, parts, scraps together so that as I'm doing each week to show you what I'm putting down. And what I'm going to do is the first one will be the first video for that. I am going to go ahead and load it on December 1st so that you guys can see exactly from day one and what I did right after Thanksgiving. And I'll probably do a little more video. It won't quite be weekly. It'll be shorter than weekly so that this will be all done. You want this done for Christmas. So on the last week, all you'll have to do is go through and put in your Christmas pictures. And you'll have it all, hopefully, you know, your memories down as you're leading up to there. Actually, I'm going to untie this because we don't need it tied. We need it more flat. 2018 up here first. And I'd like to have these, the naughty and nice, ready so that the glue is still a little wet and I can stick them down in there. And of course, I'm not going clear to the edge. Kind of eyeballing where I think it looks great. It's about 3/4 of an inch from my border there. Now I can go ahead and push down nice and naughty. So that one little spot, there we go. Decided to go ahead and stick early. The one thing that I may change is our 2018 because I'm going to grab our sticker sheet and I'm going to use Santa's outfits, or you can use the stockings. And one reason I'm choosing the Santa's outfits, I think it's going to just be that much easier for me to cut around. And I am using white. No, we're going to change that to red. I just noticed we have a white border there. That was a scrap piece. Again, good fussy cutting scissors. And then also not worrying about being super perfect. And then turn the paper. And I'm not going to go up in the tight areas, because you're just kind of setting up yourself for disaster unless you are really great at cutting those small areas. This is the first album for a December type project that I've been excited to actually start feeling. It just feels manageable. Sometimes when things don't feel manageable, we look at them more as a chore instead of something fun. Again, I am not being overly perfect here. I'm just letting my paper turn. Scissors will follow. Get rid of some of the bulk. The only thing that I do like to go back and make sure if there's supposed to be a rounded corner, that it's rounded and not pointed. And then I'm perfectly happy. Another place I thought would be cute. No, let's bring it down here. I'm going to move my gold letters to the top. Still, I have to have that bow. I just love it. Still need Santa up there. Not sure, but I'm going to try it and see if some of it, no, it's definitely, he's too big. And have a holly jolly Christmas down at the bottom, which I'm not going to back. So let's get started. Start with our, whether you chose stockings or Santa's clothesline suits. I'm going to put it right at the bottom of the plaid. And what I'm doing is there's a black line on this plaid that's making it very convenient for me to use to line up my numbers. And if you've used the plaid, then you'll know what I mean. Just pick yourself a line, and it's so easy just to line it up on that. Going really easy with my art glue on this. Dry diaper wipe is really awesome for projects like this, when you're wanting to be gentle on what you're doing. Oh, I looked at it and thought, okay, did I put the wrong date? Yes, we are still at 2018. Just looked weird for a minute, you know. Whoa, squirrel. Sorry. Whoops. I think on this one, we're going to pop. I'm going to pop Santa up just a little bit here. I'm going to use 2 dots because it's not super sturdy paper. It's just from the ephemera pack. There we go. And down goes the bow. Now on this, I am going to add some over here. I want it to be a little more secure. Tied nice. And there we have our 2018 December weekly. But the tutorials won't stop there. So I will be doing more and more as we're going. One thing on here that I'm not putting is any embellishments yet. I'll probably do that at the end, but while working on it, I just don't want to smash or ruin anything. My plans, because when it's going to be stored, I'm going to use one of the bigger clips, and I will I'm planning on using that. We'll see what happens, but because when we're working on it, I'm going to be smashing this down a lot. And then on the back side, again, if you want to add anything, you certainly can. You may want to add your own little label that you print off or stamp. But there is our December weekly 2018. And join me starting December 1st as I do tutorials on each page as what I'm putting inside of here. I hope you guys enjoy making this. I loved making it with you. It was a lot of fun. And I can't wait now to get pictures back, starting with Wilbur, of course, and get my book put together. So thank you for joining me, and I'll see you on December 1st.